Attention Spartans, this week's episode of Halo the Series is filled with shocking twists and turns. I'm Sydnee Goodman, and this is Halo the Series Declassified. I'm so excited to break down everything that went down in this week's episode of Halo the Series. But I can't do that without spoilers, so if you haven't seen Halo the Series Season 2, Episode 2 yet, find your nearest screen, stream it, and then come back here for all the goods. I mean it. Go, now. Stream it. Enjoy it. Okay, now that that's out of the way, can I just say I'm loving this season so far. Later, I'm talking to executive producer David Wiener. Also, we go behind the scenes to reveal how the makeup team uses their prosthetics wizardry to create Riz's look this season. But first, I'm so happy that I get to sit down with one of Season 2's newest additions, Joseph Morgan, who plays the mysterious Oni Colonel, James Ackerson. Take a watch. Joseph, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
So excited to dive into this. But first, how excited are you to be joining the Halo universe?
I grew up playing the games, and so I was familiar with a lot of the mythology and the characters and the settings. It feels like I'm sort of stepping into a childhood dream. So yeah, very, very rewarding.
That's so fun. Do you have a favorite game or weapon or kind of a favorite thing that you were most excited to see maybe on set?
Yeah, I was really excited to see the Warthogs and also the armor, of course, the Spartan armor, because that's iconic.
Let's talk about James Ackerson. Who is James Ackerson?
James Ackerson essentially is the new boss. So he's come in and he's taken over the Spartan program. He's a military man. He worked his way up the UNSC and he's come in to change things up.
Now, talk to me about Ackerson's relationship with John 117, the Master Chief. What's going on here?
I like to think there's a sort of begrudging respect underlying the relationship, but certainly they butt heads almost from the get-go. Ackerson makes it no secret that it's his way or the highway. John doesn't like the challenge to his authority. And so immediately they're at odds. But whereas John will come at something head on, he'll charge right into the battle. Ackerson likes to manipulate. He's really trying to play puppeteer.
So how does Ackerson feel about taking over for Halsey? Those are kind of big shoes to fill.
I think Ackerson's feeling confident when he shows up, very confident. Halsey left things in a right mess. And so I think he comes in, knowing how to handle the situation, knowing how to write things, and knowing what needs to be done for the greater good of humanity. And he's not afraid to do it, no matter the sacrifice.
In the latest episode, you have 3 very powerful scenes with some of the most iconic Halo characters. The Master Chief, Halsey, Kai, and Cortana in one episode. So what was it like shooting those scenes? Ackerson seems to use a different style with each of them.
As I said, he likes to manipulate and he gauges the situation and the person, and then he adapts and improvises to overcome the situation and to get what he wants out of that person and out of that situation. So he's slightly different depending on who he's talking to, because it's all a means to an end for him.
It's so interesting from an audience standpoint because we don't know Ackerson. So it is interesting to see him put on these different masks because I don't know which one is a mask.
There's real Ackerson in all of those moments, but also I don't think he knows where the core of him ends and the mask begins.
Without spoiling anything, what's ahead for Ackerson?
Oh, Ackerson has got a dark night of the soul coming up. He's, he comes in confident and full of pep, full of ideas, and he's forced to make decisions that he doesn't like, but there's no easy way out. And then we get to see how he reacts to that and how he potentially may find his way through that.
Wow, a lot to look forward to, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's a good arc. It's a really good journey.
Amazing. Well, before we let you go, do you have anything that you'd like to say to fans?
For me, the connection with fans has always been the most important part of being on these shows. And now with Halo, I can feel that they are behind this show. And it's just, I feel so utterly humbled by their continued support, but to receive that kind of affirmation and that kind of excitement, around it all is just amazing. So thank you so, so much from the bottom of my heart.
I'd like to make a toast to Talia and her Marines and the Spartans.
Little cousin kicked some serious Covenant ass.
I'm Cristina Rodlo, and I play Talia Perez.
Colonial Cross is presented to Corporal Talia Perez.
Corporal Perez is a new character in season 2, played by the amazing Cristina Rodlo. She is someone we meet early in the season. She's a Marine. In some ways, she represents the real on-the-ground aspect of the UNSC war. The Spartans are these incredible super soldiers, and they come in for these missions, and you forget that there are Marines on the ground who are fighting every single day in this very brutal conflict.
It's not someone who's like a super experienced soldier at first, and we watch her evolve over the course of the season into someone who becomes very principled and really focused on why she fights.
She comes from a big family, and that's the most important thing. In her point of view, the only way to protect them was to be part of the UNSC.
She represents what does it mean to be a sort of regular soldier facing this like horrific enemy.
You think about it every day. Doesn't get better. Just gets further away.
He then goes to her house and is confronted with the fact that she has a vibrant family with joy and pain and all of the things that a family can bring.
People may seen with my whole family, the big dinner scene.
What's your KDR? Kill-death ratio?
I don't keep score.
I think people are gonna really connect with Perez's family and feel the vibe.
Salud.
And the fact that he sees her so connected to them and so connected to that faith, to that power in a way, he's intrigued by it.
In the first episode, he's confronted by a character called the Mother who asks him a very pointed question.
Have you family, Spartan?
That question is bouncing around in his head.
And really getting to the theme of faith and agency, really making her own choices and really being an exemplar of why a soldier chooses to fight. And I think that's something that ends up being a very resonant message for John.
The Master Chief's life has a few more complications this season. Fortunately, I've got executive producer David Wiener here to help sort it all out for us. Thanks for being here, David.
Thank you, Sydnee. It's really great to be here.
Yeah, so let's just jump into season 2. I mean, we're on the second episode. I feel like everything about this season is bigger and better. Can you talk about the scale of this season and maybe how that has affected every part of the creative process?
Yeah, and Halo is a big show because it's a big, universe.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes place on a huge theater of war, which is kind of how you have to tell the story if you're going to kind of retain the spirit of the game.
Well, and speaking of story, the Master Chief is experiencing a lot. There's a lot going on in his story. So talk to me about where he ended last season and maybe how his story arc has progressed so far in season 2.
Yeah, so at the end of the first season, Master Chief is, Cortana has kind of taken over Master Chief's faculties in order to defeat the Covenant. And in this season, we skip some time. And what we learn coming into the season is that Master Chief and Cortana have been separated. What we look at in terms of Master Chief is like, what was the impact on him from that procedure, from that experience, from the absence of this partner. And so it was a great way to kind of start taking that relationship to a place that I think is more familiar to me as a fan.
What was the decision, if you can talk a little bit on the time jump? Why 6 months and not a year or a month?
It felt like enough time to be able to acknowledge everything that had gone before, but also to introduce the possibility that things had shifted a little. And not just for Master Chief, but for the other Spartans, for the UNSC itself.
I'm glad you brought up the other Spartans because we're learning a lot about them so far this season. How did you flesh out their storylines?
We're trying to tell the story honestly of what it's like to of a big conflict, and to tell that through the eyes of our soldiers. And not every soldier is the same. What Kai's contending with personally is different from what Riz is contending with personally, is different from what Vanek's contending with personally, and what Master Chief is. It's an epic story, but we want to tell it through the relationships.
You kind of mentioned that, you've been a Halo fan, so maybe this question speaks to you. Why do you think the Halo universe is so important to so many people?
It's the best universe. It's like you have this really immediate current conflict, and underpinning that, you have all of the wonder and discovery. There's no limit, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what people love about it. That's what I love about it.
Well, David, thank you so much for coming by and being so generous with letting us into the process.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Remember when Riz got really super injured in the season 1 finale? Of course, it was all part of the show, but man, it was so real. Fortunately, she's all healed up for season 2. Well, sorta. How did her remaining scars look so lifelike in the new season? I'm glad you asked. We've put together a behind-the-scenes peek at how they came to be. Check it out.
Warriors think your scars are on the outside, but they're not.
At the end of season 1, we leave Riz in quite a sorry state. She'd just been quite substantially injured from a Covenant weapon. And in season 2, we pick up where Riz is kind of having to deal with the repercussions of her injuries.
How much longer are you gonna keep this up? I'm a Spartan, Kai. We're at war.
Something quite monumental happens between the seasons, which is Riz takes her pellet out. And that has quite a huge effect on her ability to deal with her injury as well. Without the pellet, it's the first time that she's really experiencing physical pain.
How bad is it?
It's nothing.
She's only ever been bred to be a Spartan, not born, because obviously she was stolen, but trained and augmented and indoctrinated to be this killing machine. Suddenly not being able to perform as well as a Spartan, emotionally something that she has to overcome. And we see that as the series progresses, her need to kind of understand and deal with that.
Come on.
Spartans never die.
The prosthetics process was quite big, quite long sometimes, depending on the day. We have the most amazing and dedicated and hardworking prosthetics team.
So it's really getting a full story of what your character's like from the beginning all the way through to the end.
There was so much thought and design that went into it.
We have Riz with all of her augmentation. What does that look like, what she's wearing? How does that need to look with all the other injuries she's received as well?
So I would get called in before the crack of dawn sometimes.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I would just sort of lie there. I had to be quite still. That was my job, be still. And the prosthetics team would just meticulously apply the various sections of the injuries on me.
That was the most complicated of pieces to do. But then I'd have like 5 people working on her as artists. So the time goes by quicker, our actor is relaxed and they get up and then they're ready to perform.
It's very meticulous work, just diligent, and it looked amazing.
Soren and his family are going through some things, but Kessler is still an adorable ray of light in a dark situation. I love his Master Chief helmet. And wait until you hear prop master Andrew Orlando talk all about his backstory. You'll love it even more.
And that thing of your head.
There needs to be a history behind how Kessler developed this helmet. The base of this helmet is a UNSC pilot helmet, which his dad would have found somewhere in the rubble. The original pilot's helmets have basically got an orange underlay, so we had a little bit of that coming through. What Kessler did is he basically found the lid of a toolbox, so it's got a bit of the kind of toolbox detail in here and in the underneath. Then we've got basically snowboarding goggles, so that gives it the whole homemade kind of story. And then every time he chats to somebody, when you've got the real actor, he basically pops the visor up and the visor down.
My dad comes back. He'll protect us.
He's not coming back!
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Halo the Series Declassified. Thanks especially to Joseph Morgan and David Wiener for a couple of great chats. Next week, I'll be joined by Natasha McElhone, aka Dr. Catherine Halsey, and Shabana Azmi, who plays Admiral Margaret Parangosky, to talk all about Halo the Series Season 2, Episode 3. And of course, before I bid you adieu, I've got a special preview of next week's episode, which you'll be able to find on Paramount+. See you in 7 days for another edition of Halo the Series Declassified.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. I've never heard anything like it.
I have.
It's not just a sound.
What is it?
A prayer.
Stand down! I know what I saw. You had a delusion.
Chief was just doing what he thought was right.
Well, that's what concerns me.
We're not built to sit around and wait.
Move.